Well, it looks like we're live, but what's going on? Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Everything looks weird. I'll tell you why here in just a second. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. It looks like I have all the lights off. My apologies for the delay. Apparently, I can't use this anymore. This is my trusty iPad that I've had for years. But when I opened it this morning, a little while ago, to set up the live, it said I needed to do an update. So I hit the update button, and then it wouldn't update. It said I don't have the latest version of whatever iOS stuff. I don't know. And I'm guessing that it's because my iPad is old and it can't use the latest update or something. I don't know what's going on. So I had to quickly scramble and set this up on my phone. So I hope you can hear me. Hit that thumbs up if you can hear me okay. And yeah. Anyway, we are here. We're hanging out. I can't get used to this little screen. So anyway, if anybody has any sort of information as to how I can get this old iPad to update so that I can continue using this larger, I like the larger screen. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that, but we're here. We're hanging out. Our screen's a little wonky, but whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see here. Sam's here. Sam's having advertisements. Dastardly Dave says, sup all. What's up, Dave? How's it going? Good morning. Harry Dude's here. What's up? What's up, Harry Dude? And there's Mike. Mike says, good morning, Wednesday Live. Good morning, Mike Johnson. Harry Dude says, sounds fine, looks good. Right on. That is good to know. And Phil's with the thumbs up. Right on. Mike says, looks like an iPad mini. It is an iPad mini. It is an old iPad mini. But so what happened? It says, let's see if I can tell you exactly what's going on here. I'm going to disconnect from the phone so that I don't have to use the Wi-Fi. But what happened was when I went into the YouTube app, like I always do every week, and I start to use it, it comes up and says update required. So then I hit update, and it goes to the app store thingy. I hit update. It says the current version requires iOS 14 or later, but you can download the latest compatible version. All right. So I hit the download button, and it just goes, it does this loop of clicking the download button, download, 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 download. I don't know. I gotta have to research this and see if there's a way I can do it offline or something. I don't know. Will this? Nope, it won't. Let's see. Sam says you can buy a Bluetooth projector that connects to the cell phone. That'd be kind of cool. We do it on a big screen. And Paul's here. Paul says hello all. Hello, Paul. Good morning. Mike says, what model mini is it? That's a great question. Let's see if we can figure this out here. Let's see. I am not an Apple user. This is the only Apple device I have ever owned. So I don't claim to be an Apple expert. Somewhere it says there's something about, there we go. Let's see here. Model number, ME276LL/A. I don't know what that means. Model, it says iPad mini 2. Does that tell you anything? Software version 12.5.7. Said I need 14. but I don't think I can. Maybe it won't run 14. Let's see. It says software update. Let's press this button and see what it does. I'm sorry. I'm not coming on here to play with this. Oh, it says automatic updates on. So it says software is up to date. So apparently this can only run 12.5.7 of iOS. I don't know. It says I need 14 to be able to use the latest update for YouTube. I don't know. Paul, you're a Mac guy. Is this thing finally outdated? It might very well be. Because I've had it for probably, I bet it's been about close to 10 years, maybe? That's just a guess. 8 to 10 years. Maybe it's finally outdated and unsupported. Sam says, the best course of action with Apple products? Throw it, LOL. I mean, I don't despise Apple products on that level, but come on, at least, yeah. Sam says the Samsung keyboard's tiny. Please forgive the accidental digits. That's all good. I know. You should have seen me trying to do the thing here on the phone. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry, things are looking different. How are you here? Mike says the last update was September 2019 and 12.5.7. Interesting. Harry Dude says, I'm still using iPad Air, the first version, without issue for my digital mixer. No need to update yet. Well, see, that's what I would have thought. I mean, this worked. Everything worked yesterday. You know, I usually in the evening I'll watch a couple YouTube videos, and it worked fine. But this morning, no dice, as they say. That's the reason I bought this, actually, was when I was playing in the cover band. We had a digital mixer that would connect. It was one of the PreSonus Studio Live mixers, and you can connect through the PreSonus app, and we could control our in-ear monitor mixes, and this is what I used, and it worked awesome, and it has ever since until this morning. So I don't know what's going on. Like everything else, I think seems to work, as far as I can tell. It won't connect to anything, but I can still open the PreSonus app. Sometimes I play around with it with Studio One as like a remote panel thingy. But for some reason, I guess the YouTube is potentially out of date. So I might have to get used to using the phone again, and that's what I started using. And then I decided that the iPad was a little better because it's bigger, but I don't know. Don't know. Mike says, iOS. Yeah, yeah. Paul says it needs coffee. Tell Apple to enable Java so it works. Will it work if I pour coffee on it? Like maybe I pour it like down the plug or something? I don't know. What can I do, Paul? Any ideas to make it work? Or am I SOL? Cheers, everyone. iPad's not working, but this is, and we're hanging out. We got coffee. Now, Paul says can't update app. Correct. It says I need to be on iOS version 14 to download the latest update. But then it says, or you could just download the last compatible version. So I click download, and the box comes back up. You need to be on 14, or download the latest version. So I click download, and it just loops. Download, and that's all it's doing so far. I haven't researched it. This just happened. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know. Sam says, commercially packed chocolate bars okay to be sent to the USA from the UK. I mean, I don't know why not, but probably. I mean, I'm not aware of anything specific that would limit that sort of stuff. Paul says, does the iPad support 14? I have no idea. Apparently, the last update was in 2019. I don't know what it supports. Is there a way to find that out? When I go to software update, it says I'm on iOS 12.5.7, and it says your software is up to date. But apparently, YouTube doesn't think that my software is up to date. So I don't know. Apparently, that's the last software version that this will run, or whatever updates they've pushed out. Because if I check for updates, it says, yeah, you don't need one. You're up to date. Paul says, could sign out of Apple ID, restore to factory, then sign back in. I mean, I could try it. At this point, it doesn't do me any good. So what do I have to lose? He says, what model is it? It's an iPad mini, but I don't know. Let's see. I had the model number and everything, but it's an iPad mini 2, model number ME276LL/A, if that tells you anything. Yeah. That's all I know. Darn thing. I really don't want to buy another one, but I sure do like streaming with that as opposed to the phone. But I guess the phone works, then that's what we're going to use. So what have you guys been working on? What's on your workbenches? Sorry, I hope I didn't. There we go. Paul says the last version of the iPad Mini 2 supported was 12.5.7, released on January 23. Harry Dude says you've reached the end of the iOS updates for that model. Darn it. Mike says lots of videos regarding how to make things good for the iPad. I'll do a little research and try to figure that out and see if there's a way around it. Always something, isn't there? See, if you ever feel that way, just know that you're not alone, because it happens here too. It happens to all of us, right? Things just go out of date. Transmissions just go out of the car for everyone. And really, I guess it's, I could get mad, right? I could get stupid iPad, smash it to pieces, but why? It's not going to fix it. We just have to move forward and keep trudging along. So there's my motivational speech for the day. It's how we handle the problems, right? Sam says, is it 12 noon there? It is not. Sam, it is 9, I don't know, 9:15 a.m. Something like that. 20 after, I don't even know. I bet the iPad will tell me. It's 9:21. All righty. So anyway, did you guys see this video? Working on this sharpening stone. I gotta hold everything way higher now because the camera's weird. This little thing turned out awesome. The stone, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was. That was a lot of work. Trying to flatten that thing out. And this side is decent. The other side, not so much. That was way harder than I thought it was going to be. If you haven't seen this yet, make sure when we're done hanging out, you go watch that video. Not what I expected, because, well, I watched some other videos and it didn't look like it was going to be this hard, but this was a fun little project, actually. I think I enjoyed making the box better than I enjoyed trying to flatten this stone, but really like the fit of this thing. I mean, that came out really well. I'm happy with that. So now, what was I gonna say? Poof, gone. That thought's gone. Jeez. I'm all out of sorts because the iPad threw me a curveball. But anyway, this was a fun one to make, and I still got to keep working on that stone to try to get it a little bit flatter. But yeah, that was a lot harder than I expected it to be. So now I'm working on something for the guitars, for my setup bench. As I was working on the acoustic guitar, working at the bench there, and realized I got to do a little bit of organizational improvements to that area because it's a little bit of a disaster. Sam says, would a flat steel knife sharpener flatten the stone? I feel like no, but I honestly don't know. That was really hard to do. I watched a few videos and did a little bit of research leading up to that. Probably more than I really needed to do, but I'd never attempted that before. And a lot of the videos I watched, I guess now that they were using a different style of stone, more of a water stone. They would just take it on some sandpaper and and it would be fine. Granted, mine was severely worn and it really needed a lot of attention to get it flat. Apparently I didn't take into consideration the differences in the hardness of this oil stone versus like a water stone or something. Nothing would really touch it all that well. I feel like a knife steel or a sharp a steel for knives like you're talking about, I don't think that would work. I don't think it's aggressive enough. Some people suggested that I take it out on some concrete and scrub it along. I tried that on a concrete block. It didn't do anything. So I don't know what's different about this stone than compared to the stones that others have flattened. But this thing is like trying to flatten a piece of steel. I don't know. It just ended up being a ton of work. And like I said, a lot more difficult than I expected. Robert's here. Robert says, hello, everyone. Good morning, Robert. And Donna's here. Donna says, good morning, Jeff. Good morning to you, Donna. How are you doing this fine Wednesday morning? Sam says, oh, there it is. Hardened sidewalk stone. I tried two different ones. I tried like a concrete block, pretty dense concrete, nothing. I tried a regular cinder block. And that didn't do anything. And Jimmer's here. Jimmer, what's up, man? Good morning. A diamond grinder disc. I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that. I thought for sure that when I went to use the belt grinder with a ceramic disc or a ceramic belt, I thought that would have done something. I mean, it did for a second, but then all the abrasive was just smooth. I mean, I could touch my finger to the running belt and it didn't do anything. It was just weird. It was completely unexpected results. I didn't want to use the file, but I think it probably did the most cutting for the longest anyway. Yeah. I don't know. It was a fun experiment trying to figure out different ways to get the stone flat. But I did use a ton of belts and a ton of sandpaper. And like I mentioned in the video, I probably could have just went and bought one that was way less worn. But somehow that felt like taking away the fun. But anyway, back to my organization projects, and I should have brought a file. So if you do any setup work, and I know several of you do, you know this the StuMac nut files, like the little flat, almost like a fingernail file. I just have a holes drilled right now in like a scrap of 2x4 that I put those files in. Well, it doesn't fit very good, and they flop all over the place, and it's hard to find the one you need. So I'm working on, this is a prototype, but I'm going to make one a little bit nicer. This is just some scrap wood, basically a proof of concept with some little 3D printed inserts that I can take. I can set up all of the files in here and have a couple extra spaces. The little files fit right in there. I got a little space down here where I plan to write, just with a marker, write the size on there, so that way I can quickly find the ones I need, and I can have all my files in there. This will sit on the bench, everything easy, accessible. At least that's the idea. So that's what I'm working on now, probably for this week's video, I think. Harry Dude says you probably need to put it in a milling machine. I thought about that too, but I don't have access to one anymore. Yeah. I thought about even trying to hit it with an angle grinder and see what that would do. And Paul says, "Okay, I'm back." I'm glad you're back, Paul. I was worried. Jimmer says, agreed. Yeah, the milling machine would work really good. I don't know what you do. Is a carbide insert end mill or something? I don't know. Sam says the stream has gone heavily pixelated. Well, Sam, I'm sorry. Actually, everything other than the screen being darker right now, everything looks exceptionally smooth here on this end. Maybe I just need to hook the phone to like an external monitor or something. That'd be kind of cool. And then I could just use the phone. I keep hearing noises out there. What is that? I don't see anybody. Paul says, guess you're going to have to get a new iPad. Darn it. I don't want to get a new iPad. I mean, I like new gadgets, but if the old gadgets work, which I guess this one doesn't anymore. Darn it. Well, anyway, thanks for your suggestions, guys, and your assistance with my gadgetry problems. I appreciate it. We'll get it figured out. Paul says, buy yourself a cheap MacBook Pro and use it. Yeah, I mean, that's an option too. There's just something I like about this. I guess it doesn't have to be an Apple product, I suppose, as long as it runs YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I got a laptop I could use. Camera's not very good, so I'd have to hook up another camera to it, which I've been playing around with for quite a while. But yeah. And Terry's here. Terry says, hello, Jeff and all. Hello, Terry. Good morning. Sam says, get a Samsung tablet. Yeah, I thought about that. We have one. Maybe I should try using that. Mike says, my older iPad will not update either, but does play the live video. Harry Dude says, weren't you going to use a laptop with an external camera? Yeah. You know what, Harry Dude? Yes, I was. But I haven't had great luck getting everything connected. I worked on that for quite a while. I have external camera cards and all kinds of things. I can get it to work. And maybe that's what I need to just do. Maybe this will push me to get to that. It's a little more setup. You know, there's a convenience here of just hitting a few things on here, streaming from this, everything from this. But yeah, the plan was to use an external camera. I use my DSLR, or was it DSLR? Or, I don't know. Yeah, but my regular video camera to use that for the lives. again, it comes down to internet speed because the quality coming off of the regular camera is a lot higher resolution than the iPad. Now, I don't know what resolution this is. It's probably, I mean, my phone will do 4K, but I don't know what resolution the stream is in because I was in a hurry to start it. But I was having trouble connectivity or internet speed issues, buffering, trying to get a decent quality stream to upload in the testing. And so that's one thing that kind of put the squash on trying to use the external camera. That's ultimately the way I would like to go, but I can't get a good enough, or I couldn't at the time get it to work smoothly enough to where I was happy with the results. Everything I got it to work, and I even had it to where I could use different cameras. Like I could have the GoPro plugged in and this other camera, and you could switch between the two, which was kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do because I was using OBS, but just that internet speed was really kind of messing me up. Robert says, what type of abrasive was on the paper and the belts? If it's anything other than carborundum, probably not going to cut very well. Aluminum oxide is most likely tough enough. Most of everything I was using was aluminum oxide, except for on the belt grinder. When I tried the belt grinder, the 2x72, those were a ceramic belt, which I thought might have been a little bit more durable than the aluminum oxide, but it didn't seem to make any difference. So yeah, most everything was just regular AO paper. Sam says a 4K 360 stream would be awesome. I don't know if we need a 360. You'd be looking at the Canon WD-40 that's right there sitting on my drill press table. And what else would you be looking at? My camera tripod that has no camera on the top, and you'd just be looking around at slabs of lumber that are sitting there. And Hairdude says, I'm getting the stream at 720 with bonus pixelation. Paul says, this is the Minecraft version of the live. All pixelated and blurry. No, darn it. I see, like I said, everything here seems perfectly clear. I see no stuttering. Sometimes the iPad would even pixelate, and then I would know that something's about to go down. But no, I mean, everything on my end looks fine. Robert says, yeah, the video image is going in and out, and at times it's so pixelated I can't even tell who you are. Well, I don't know what's going on. Do I have a settings here? I haven't played much with this. Let's see what this does. Nope, that's mute microphone. I don't think we want to do that. What's this do? I don't know what this does. There's a button there. Ah! Oh. I don't see things for anything here. Oh, there's like filters. I don't need filters. Oh no. I've pressed. I'm going to stop messing around and just let it roll. Paul says, are you using the same network as used on the iPad or using cellular on phone? Yeah, right now, cellular. Right now, yes, I'm on cell. And Mike says, guess when we squint, it all looks okay. Sorry guys. I could switch to Wi-Fi, but I'm afraid it's going to that it might interrupt something. I don't know if it would or not, but Robert says my end show that it should be getting the stream at 720, but it's not showing that. Paul says might be the reason it's buggy. Cell in my shop is iffy. Yeah, it's possible. It is a little bit in mine as well. wonder if I can move this closer to the window or something. If that'll make any difference. We'll just give this the old scoot. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see if that does anything. I didn't move it much because I don't have a whole lot of room to move, but we'll try that. See if that makes any difference. I just wish I could zoom the camera out. I feel all up close here. Anyway, so yeah, back to my setup bench stuff. How many of you use those StuMac nut files? You know, the one there's like 20 something different sizes, and you try to keep them organized. I think this will work pretty decent. Keep everything neat and tidy. So I'm realizing, and I thought about filming a video. Like as I was pondering this, I want this piece to be angled, and I'm realizing that that's actually a little bit harder than I anticipated it was going to be. Right now, this thing is 6 inches wide. I think I can take it down to probably 5.5 square. And so my plan was to glue up a block, and then the easiest method is to resaw that. Problem is, my bandsaw barely will resaw 5 inches. 5-inch resaw on my little bandsaw, that is the absolute max, and that's after I've ground some material away to increase the resaw capacity. So I can't resaw this because 5.5 inches. So I've been pondering, how in the world am I going to cut this at an angle safely so that it works? That's what's got me stuck. So how would you guys do that if you had a block that, like this one was 6 inches square? How would you resaw that if it won't fit on your bandsaw? How would you cut that angle in there? I've got a plan. I've got a workaround for it, so that I don't have to do it. But I was stuck at that for quite a while. What would you guys do? I thought of handsaw. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. Grind it away. I mean, there's ways to do it, but that was one step of this project where, to make it the most efficient, you just make a square block. And then from there, you put it in the bandsaw and you cut it off and you're done. But I can't do that. So, but where I was going with that is I was doing a lot of thinking about limitations in the shop. And not as a negative thing, but just I'm trying to figure out if there's a video in there somewhere just talking about that sort of thing. To where I know in my shop at the moment, my limitation, one of the limitations in the tools that I have available is my bandsaw. Because I can't cut more than 5 inches, and barely even that, 5 inches. If it's under 5 inches, it's even better. It's easier. But what sort of limitations do you guys run into? And again, it's not as a negative thing, but just I'm still trying to form these words together. You know, is there a project that you've been wanting to do but you haven't because, well, I don't have a big enough bandsaw or whatever? And really, I'm trying to formulate this. What I'm trying to say is, how can we get past those limitations and continue to do what we want to do? I hope that makes sense. As I listen to myself, I feel like I'm rambling, but I'm not. There's a topic there, and I'm trying to suss it out. Sam says, perhaps make a custom-built external Wi-Fi tower. Yeah, I've seen some of that. Harry Dude says, I've got a heap of nut files from various brands. Was considering a slot-style storage solution for them. I have basically the whole set from StewMac, and trying to keep all those little deals organized. It's been a work in progress, but this is probably going to be version 3 or 4 of different things I've tried to keep them neat and accessible. And so far, I think I'm liking this. It's probably overkill, really. 3D print little inserts that go in there, but I kind of like it. Robert says, I have some of those nut files. Also bought the holders or backers for the files. I saw those. And the funny thing is, especially on the 10, the size 10, the smallest one they have is a 10. I took a piece of an off-cut of rosewood and I cut a little groove in there, and I basically made that backer thingy before they even came out. And then it wasn't long afterwards that I saw they came out with them. Like, I was thinking, like, oh, this is a cool idea. Like, I should, like, 3D print some things that, you can use for that. And then they released them. Paul says, or borrow a friend's bigger bandsaw. I thought about that too. But I was trying to think of ways to do it myself. I am not above asking for help when needed. That is absolutely, something that I will do. But I really like to be able to figure things out myself, and that's just kind of how I roll. I have no problem, like I said, calling for backup when I need some help. But if I can figure it out on my own first, that's definitely my first approach. It would take the time that is needed for this project and cut it down significantly. Right here, this block of wood, 6 square, I resaw the angle, drill a bunch of holes, and it's pretty much done. Like, maybe not even an hour. But since I can't resaw it, I got to change my approach. And a lot of times, that changes how I'm going to build the project. And by talking about this right now with you guys, instead of making a separate video just talking about that, I'm going to build that into the project somehow. This will be the project, but I will talk about, the limitation aspect and working around it, I think, in the video. 2 birds with 1 stone. I like that. But I'm changing how I have to build this thing. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I got to run this through the drum sander to flatten it out. But I'm going to end up cutting wedges. I'm trying to show you this here, but this is really kind of strange. I'll mark this out, and I'll bandsaw, wedges. I think I can get 2, and so that it builds out this block, glue it up into strips. So I'll already have the angle built in, and then I guess just the belt sander to flatten everything out. I think is what I'll end up doing. But yeah, I've hashed out a couple things by saying this out loud with you guys. For you guys, thank you for allowing me to just ramble and hash out some ideas I've been working on. and my apologies if I was rambling. Robert says, a vise and a chainsaw. Thought about the chainsaw too. I've been thinking about everything and what makes the most sense. The problem with the vise, the limitation I was running into, is holding the piece securely so that I could safely take a chainsaw to it. My vise in here, I don't really want to be running the chainsaw in here, but I'm not against it. Harry Dude says, router sled with uneven sides. I even thought about basically the same thing. Taking this piece, so let's pretend it's flat on the top, shimming it up, and then using the CNC machine to flatten it. But I think if I just cut these wedges, rough them out on the bandsaw, then I glue up the block, and then I can flatten everything out, square it up from there, and I think it'll work fine. It'll take a lot longer than just zip, with a bandsaw. But always trying to find a way to accomplish a task without having what we feel is the ideal tool, right? There's always something that we don't have, a tool that would make our projects easier. But we just don't have the thing. And whether it's just because we don't have it, or we don't have room to put it, or the thing's too expensive, or whatever. Like, there's always something that maybe we feel is a limiting piece. And my idea is to think past that and not let that lack of a thing or whatever hinder us from building the projects that we want to build. Paul says, what bandsaw do you have, benchtop or freestanding? If freestanding, you can add a riser. It is a benchtop one, Paul. It's the Rikon 10305. It's a 10-inch bandsaw. It's got it's just under 5-inch resaw capacity factory. I may have modified a couple pieces, and by modify I mean grind away metal, so that the block, what do you call that thing with the bearings? That block goes a little bit higher, so I can get 5 inches out of it. I mean, by with like a paper thickness to spare. Yeah. I just can't. It just won't fit. I can't resaw 6 inches on a bandsaw with 5 inches. I might have to look at it a little more and see if there's something else I can do to get it to go a little bit farther. I've taken pieces off, played with the mechanism, and ground stuff away, which made it go a little bit higher yet. I think there's another 1/8 inch in there, but an 1/8 inch isn't going to cut it. Robert says, I got the battery replaced in my Ford car yesterday. Till then, for the past week, I had to use a jump box. Well, I'm glad you got it taken care of, Robert. Yeah, jump box, it works. I mean, they're handy to have. I mean, that's probably something I ought to add to my list. Mike says, jig building for the table saw or cut in half and glue. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut pieces already roughly shaped, and then just glue them up and use the belt sander to flatten them. Heritage says, I was thinking having slots to lay them down lengthways. Oh, I like that. Yeah, like you could do sort of a ladder type thing. Oh yeah, I could see that. Almost like so what I'm envisioning right now is maybe something this way. Maybe it attaches to a wall, or it just sits like that. Ooh. And it has, maybe it's got a bunch of material. What I'm picturing is, have you ever seen those sword displays? Like, they'll have a sword on something like almost sort of a gun rack type thing, right? So it'll have a couple things and the sword sits in it. This little like U-shaped deals, something like that, where you could just take each file and maybe it's cut on an angle. That'd be kind of cool too. Yeah. Robert says, I wonder if the issue with pixelation. Are you still having it? Sam says, unskippable adverts are getting annoying. Sorry, Sam. I have zero control over that. Lighting that caused the pixelation. Well, yeah, that's where I was trying the setting to see if I can lighten this up, because on the screen it looks darker. I still have all the same lights that I always have on, But yeah, for some reason the screen looks darker to me, and I don't see where I can change that. And Mike says that's a glue up. It's going to be a glue up. Paul says you can cut it in half, do what you need, then glue it back together. So make the oh yeah, make the block. I could use this wider stuff. Make the block. Cut it in half. Oh, yeah, cut it in half. Cut both, resaw both slices off. I could glue it back together, even with like a piece of maple or something in the middle. This is a chunk of black walnut. That might be kind of cool too. You could do do a line in the middle or not. That actually might be better. Just cut it in half. I could cut strips, resaw it, and glue it together. Maybe one glue up. That'd be easier than probably 5 or 6 pieces all glued together. That would be easier. I just rip off a strip. How wide is this? Where's my tape measure? I have a magnet on the back of my tape measure so that I don't lose it. Seriously, where'd it go? Really? This is not supposed to happen. Where's my tape measure? It's gone. That's okay. My ruler's gone too. This is long enough. So if I take this piece and I just cut off a 3-inch wide strip, I could cut that in half, get my 2 halves, glue that together. There's my 6-inch wide block. I like that. That's my favorite. Paul says works with bandsaw boxes. Should work with that. Yeah, it does. I haven't made a bandsaw box in forever. Mike says, great minds think alike. Yes, they do. Robert says, figuring out how to get a certain outcome with limiting restrictions is an exercise in creativity. Robert, you said that beautifully. Yeah. Yes, that's what I was rambling on about, trying to say. And you said it in one very concise sentence. Yeah. It's not that like it's not something that I get upset about. Oh, I don't have a bandsaw, so I can't make the thing. Right? And that's not the approach that I ever try to take. Mine is always, I want to make this thing. It'd be nice if I had the bigger bandsaw and I could just be done with it. But I don't. So I have to approach it differently. Like you said, an exercise in creativity. Have to get creative to accomplish the goal, whatever that is. I mean, whatever you're working on. Without, or using what we have, the tools and materials that we have available. And I know I've said it before in different videos and things. Don't feel like you can't do something because you don't have, I'm sure you've all seen the comments on different videos, not just mine, but I mean in lots of people's videos. Oh, if I had that big shop, I could build that thing too, whatever the thing is. If I had all those tools, I know I've gotten that. Oh, if I had, all that stuff, sure, I could do that sort of thing. Well, so you don't have those things. So what? Don't let that limit you. I mean, you could surely cut this out with a handsaw. I mean, there's just lots of ways to accomplish a task, and the lack of a certain tool or something should never limit us. I mean, to an extent, right? I don't have a milling machine, so I can't resurface a stone with a milling machine. I don't even know anybody with a milling machine. I used to have access to one when I was working the corporate stuff, but I mean, you know, within some reason, right? But yeah, well said, Robert. Sam says, is it snowing or windy there? It is not. It's not at the moment. It's actually been fairly decent. We've been up in the 40s Fahrenheit. What is that? 5 Celsius? 5 to 10 Celsius range? Which isn't hot by any means, but it's been decent. Sam said, we got high winds from America. You got the stuff we had last year. Sam says, use Brave, or Paul says to Sam, use Brave. It blocks the YouTube ads. It does. I actually use Brave quite a bit. And Homebuilt Workshop is I don't know if you do the Brave, what do they call that? Rewards or whatever, Paul? Homebuilt Workshop is set up as a Brave, whatever you call it. Brave Creator, I think that's what it is. So if you do the rewards and you're looking for someone to donate them to, Robert says you might be able to use magnets on a board to hold the files. Yes, you could do that too. You absolutely could. Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. And I like that. I like that vertical idea. Actually, I might try this too. I wonder if I could turn these, or if I could use these. I wonder how that would work vertical. That might work pretty good too. I'm going to experiment around with it. Mike says, take care all. Need to go. Well, Mike, have an awesome day, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. And we'll catch you next time. And Tony's here. Tony says, morning, sunshine. I know I'm late to the party. No worries, Tony. Welcome. Oh, you can barely see it, maybe, Tony. Thanks for the stickers. I got them on my toolbox. And yours are in the mail. And Dave, if you're still in here, I still haven't made it to the post office. I got a package I got to ship out. I'm hoping today. I was hoping to send it yesterday, but some 3D printed stuff, and I've been having a couple issues, so I'm hoping today or possibly tomorrow, and then I'll get to the post office. But right on, Tony. What's going on in your world? Paul says, bye, Mike Johnson. Robert said, oh yeah, to Mike. Have a good one. Sam says, never freely admit that you got wood. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch right over there. Robert said, darn gremlins moving tools around. I swear it was just there. I just used it. But I don't know where I used it. I mean, I really don't understand it. It should be there. Sam says, every man's nightmare is losing tools you were using 5 seconds ago. Yeah, I used it. I literally used it just before I started getting ready for the live. And I would have thought that it was on the bench here somewhere. Paul says, yeah, get all Rex Kruger on that piece of wood. All hand tools. Yeah. He makes some neat stuff, though. But I don't have any of those fancy hand tools, so I can't do that. No. No, I got me a hardware store wood saw and some hand planes. I got a brace and bit around here somewhere. We'll auger those suckers out. We could do it. Sam says, is Brave available in the UK? That I don't know. I don't know that. Paul says he doesn't know either. Check your pockets, Sam says. Sam, I seriously don't know where that went. I'm gonna stand up and look over there for a second. I literally don't see it anywhere. I mean, a lot of times I'll set it down. Really? There's a piece of wood sitting on my table here. Not this one in particular, but it was sitting right there. So when I stood up to look over it, I still couldn't see it. There it is. All is well in the world. Paul says it doesn't say whether it is or not. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but again, I have no idea. Just go, what is the thing? Bravebrowser.com or something? Or dot whatever? Net maybe? I don't know. Just search Brave Browser. Sam says Jeff might start putting things in odd places, like the fridge. I wouldn't be surprised, You never know. You never know. But anyway, guys, I think I've got this, got a pretty good handle on this. And I probably could have just used this if I wasn't planning on making something a little nicer. But just kind of testing the size and all of that. I think I'm good to go. I think I got a plan. So thank you for the brainstorming session and allowing me to kind of hash out the project. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream today. You absolute legend. Thank you, Sam. Well, yeah, it is. It's after 10 here. Didn't realize that was the time anyway. So, Sam, you're welcome. But anyway, yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up. I got a little research to do on this old iPad to see if it can run YouTube anymore, but it sounds like it's done for. But if you guys come up with anything or hear of anything, shoot me a message or something as I try to work through it, and I'll figure out which way I want to go with that. But now I'm going to get started on making this thing for real, so I guess I better get the 3D printer going and printing a bunch of these inserts. That's the only one I have right now. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate hanging out with all of you, even though I got off to a little bit of a late start due to technical issues. Paul says, have a great week, everyone. Sam says, be safe, everyone. Robert says, I saw a guy last year building a guitar. He had a huge chunk of mahogany, 8 inches by about 14, maybe 26, and was cutting the body out of it with a handsaw. Yeah, I mean, if you're determined, there's ways to do it. You can do it with a handsaw. Harry just says, look out, folks. There's going to be a whole new button to push at the end. Stay well, folks. That's a good point, Harry, dude. It's right there. There's a little X. I don't know if I've used it on this phone. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it'll actually work. Or maybe it'll be a whole nother mess for us to... Sam says, do you get notifications for P.O. boxes such as that some... No, I do not. I just have to go up there and check it, which I know I need to do. So I try to check it fairly regularly, but nowhere near. I get there maybe a couple times a month. Really, it's not every day, but I do definitely keep an eye on it because I get tax information and all that there. So yeah. Robert says, everyone stay safe and healthy. Right on. You guys get on your shops, make some cool things. Don't let that lack of whatever limit you in the whatever project that you're trying to tackle. So you guys have an awesome week. Stay safe, stay well. Till next time, thanks a lot for watching. Right on, guys. We'll catch you later. No way. It worked. That button worked the first time. Let's do this one.